Hi garden friends, it's Mrs. Coffee. I'm showing you today how I plant my tomatoes. This actually is my favorite type of tomato. It's a Jean Flamme and I don't speak French, but it pretty much is a perfect tomato in my opinion. It's called a saladette size because it's about 3 or 4 ounces. So it's not big and giant, but it's also not a teeny tiny cherry tomato. It's just nice and right, just about the right size for growing here where we get lots of cool weather. So I actually am doing a patio garden because as you can see, I'm planting right here on top of a balcony. These grow bags are great because you can put them in a driveway, you can put them on top of existing lawn that you have, or you can put them on top of a balcony if you don't have a yard. I love these so much because it's an instant way to have a garden. So these are about $5. This is 30 gallons on 30 gallons of soil, which is about 4 cubic feet. So that's a lot of garden space. So I'm actually going to be lining my entire balcony and my entire driveway just to be able to have more garden space this year. But let me show you how easy it is to plant a tomato. I've got this beautiful start from the nursery. However, I'm not going to just plant this even in the soil like this. I'm going to dig a really deep hole and actually only have this much of the plant that's sticking out of the soil. What's going to happen is that if you stay where you are, all of these tiny little hairs that are here on the end of this stem, on the edge of this stem, are actually going to turn into new roots. The more roots that you have for a plant, the more water and the more nutrients that it can absorb. So the first thing that I do is I dig a really big, deep hole. Nice and deep. And then in my hole, I'm going to put a magic little potion of nutrients for my tomato. So I actually bought this from the Portola Valley hardware store. This came from a wonderful farm that's called Love Apple Farm, and I got this recipe from her. But this is a mixture of feather meal, bone meal, an all-purpose fertilizer. It also has some worm castings in it. Typically what I would do in my own garden is I would bury a salmon head in the bottom. So if I'm planting right into my garden bed, I actually dig a hole and I put all of these wonderful nutrients in it, as well as a giant head from salmon. And in that way, that salmon can decompose, and as it decomposes, the tomato is able to get all of those nutrients from the fish bones, and it turns into an amazing, wonderful, big, healthy tomato plant. So I'm going to mix in that fertilizer just a little bit with some soil, and then watch how deep I'm going to plant this. Nearly the entire plant is going to disappear in here. So the only part that's sticking up is the very, very top of this tomato. The rest of it is all going to be deep underneath the soil. Like I said, the more of the plant that's underneath the soil, the more roots, the more new roots it'll make from that system. So you also will see that it has all of these little suckers that are coming out of these edges. So I'm actually going to pull my suckers off so that I get a nice tall plant instead of it being super bushy. But look at all this space right here. All of this soil is wasted space. So I'm actually underneath my tomato, since I have all of this surface area, I'm going to cover it with carrots and with radishes. I might even fit some beans in. So let me show you what I've done with this bed right here that I've already planted. There's my tomato. It's in the very center. And then as you can see, around my tomato plant, I've covered the entire thing with radishes and with carrots. I even have some miner's lettuce here that came in all by itself. And if you look really carefully, you can see that I even put sugar snap peas around the edge. So my sugar snap peas are going to grow up on the tomato stake that I'm going to be putting in here later. So I'm able to fit, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vegetables in one tomato pot. Okay, have fun and happy gardening, friends.